السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. Inshallah, we have a short dars, and today we talk about pain and suffering, because as human beings we usually go through periods where we prefer not to be in that situation but in another situation. And this dars we put it in form of a verse, poem. We'll read it, then inshallah we'll explain. We call it Take Heart. It says about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows our circumstances. He after all created them to target our weaknesses so that we purge and cure them. A miser is given plenty, a lot of wealth, then forced to spend a few cents, a price not hefty. Feel the pain, but your soul do mend. So please don't envy the miser. They suffer just as those in want. Look within, you'll be much wiser. Strengthen your heart, but do not hunt, lest you find a monster within that's hard to fight and you can't cope. He taps you lightly when you sin, so you turn back when there is still hope. Empty claims can't be left to stand. Winds of trials must check the roots. And it goes on. Let's explain this. Whenever you find yourself in a situation where you find yourself in pain or suffering, first thing you need to know, Allah knows you are in that situation. أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. Why should Allah not know, yet is the one who created you, created your circumstance, created your abilities, created everything that you're going through. It's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And why does Allah put us into difficulty, into pain and suffering sometimes? Allah does that because we have weaknesses that we need to remove. For example, we say here, a miser is given plenty. Someone, they have a lot of wealth, but they are suffering. Why? Because in their hearts they have a disease. They cannot give. They have bukhul. When someone is bakhil, Allah gives you lots of wealth, then He forces you to spend it. So you feel the pain. As you spend it, then you cure yourself. Imagine if you are bakhil, you are a miser, and you have nothing to give. How will you ever know? So Allah gives you wealth, then He forces you to spend, then you realize, why do I find it so difficult to spend and I have? It's because I have a sickness in my soul. Then you suffer even as you give. So suffering sometimes comes in different forms, but Allah puts you in that circumstance. Like we say, feel the pain, but cure your soul. Another thing we learn about this pain and suffering, they say, look within, you'll be much wiser. Whenever you have a pain in your environment, look within you. What is Allah trying to cure in your soul? But then you say, you need to strengthen your heart. You find something, you cure it. But don't go hunting for mistakes. Start thinking, am I a miser? Am I not a miser? Am I an evil person? Don't do that. You are a good person. However, whenever you find something wrong in your soul, do something to cure it. For example, some people, they are very angry, but you never know you are angry until you find something that angers you. Then how you react determines, like, hey, why am I overreacting? So I have an anger problem. The only way you knew about that is because of the circumstance around you. So this circumstance, they cause you pain and suffering so that you cure yourself. Whenever there's something in your environment you don't like, what can you do to cure yourself? Then the environment will change. Bi-idhnillah. Then another reason why we have problems and suffering in our life is because we do sins. We do dhunub. When you do sins, you commit sins, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He puts you in a difficult situation. Min al-adab al-adna. Allah gives you the small punishment, dun al-adab, before the big one, la'allahum yarji'un, so that you turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you find yourself in a terrible circumstance or in pain, we say He taps you lightly when you sin. So you turn back when there is still hope. Because when the heart reaches the gargara, you are in bad situation, you are not changing, then the gargara, death comes upon you and you go to hell. So whenever you find yourself in difficulty, start thinking, what sins am I committing that I need to do tawbah? Another reason why we feel pain and suffering sometimes is because we make claims. I'm a believer, I'm a mu'min, I choose Allah. Allah tests that claim. Empty claims can't be left to stand. You just don't say, أَحَسِبَ النَّاسَ يُتْرَكُ وَيَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Do you think just because you make a claim, Allah will leave you? He will have to check whether you're a true believer. And then you prove it. So He puts you in a bad circumstance or in difficulties. If you're a believer, you don't lose hope, you don't curse. You say, inshallah, things will be better. You show your iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you say you are a believer, then when you're in tough situations, bad words come from your mouth, that actually shows there is something wrong with your heart you need to cure. So as we say, empty claims can't be left to stand. Winds of trials must check the roots. And then we say, how do you deal with this suffering? When you prefer something else, be patient as you do salah. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. You only need patience when you prefer something else. When Allah puts you in a difficult situation and you prefer to be somewhere else, then you need to be patient as you wait for the nasr, for Allah to remove you from that situation. Be patient and do salah. Pray to Allah, and your salah will help you get through that situation. However, there's another situation you can do, or take your pain as jewels that adorn your faith in Allah. Sometimes you are in that bad situation or terrible situation because Allah loves you. You know, the Prophet says, أَشَدُّ النَّاسِ ابْتِلَاءً الْأَنْبِيَاء. The prophets, they face tough situations. ثُمَّ الْأَمْثَلْ فَالْأَمْثَلْ. Then the people who are like the prophets. So sometimes you get into that situation because Allah loves you, He wants to increase your station. So He gives you that situation, and as you remain patient and turn back to Him, He increases your station. So you take your pain as jewels that adorn your faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or at least be grateful. Your heart got cleansed. Jannah is for qalb salim. Sometimes as you go through this patience, it cleanses you. And then you get to Jannah when you are clean. You know, يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. Your heart will be cleansed. Then you go to Jannah when you are already clean. So the pain and the suffering is cleaning you. So you say, Alhamdulillah, Allah, I got sick, and that really cleansed me. Now I am ready for Jannah. Oh Allah, I got into this really tough situation, but Alhamdulillah, it helped me change this and this within me. Now I'm ready for Jannah. So you are thankful for a bad, terrible, heavy situation because it makes you go to Jannah by cleansing your heart. So you don't have to complain all the time. And also we say, since hard and ease are both destined, use each in your worship of Him. You worship Allah with ease. When He gives you an easy time, you are thankful to Allah. When He gives you a hard time, you turn to Allah still. So both ease and hardship are meant for us to worship Allah, using the things of ease to worship Allah, and using our difficulty to worship Allah through patience, through prayers, and through asking for forgiveness, and All that, we use the difficulty to do the ibadah which comes with difficulty. There's some du'as which you only make when you're in a difficult situation. Imagine the Prophet was swallowed by a whale, Yunus, and he says, La ilaha illa anta subhanak, inni kuntu min al-zalimin. And then Allah says, Kadhalika nunji al-muhsinin. That is how we save those people. So there's a dua for saving you when you're in a tough situation. So when do you get to make this dua if you never get into a tough situation? So you use that difficulty to do things that is an act of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When all is well, don't exalt in pride. Sometimes, وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالْخَيْرِ وَالشَّرِّ fitna. Allah gives you trials with goodness and difficulty. When things are good, don't be proud. Don't say, like Qarun, this is all mine, I'm responsible for all this. No. Don't be proud when you're given. وَيَقُولُ رَبِّي يَكْرَمَنَ, Allah favors me because I'm so good. No. And also, when He makes wide, He who makes wide does make narrow. Allah makes things wide and does make things narrow. Even then, still at Him you cannot chide. You cannot be angry at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or despair and drown in sorrow. When you are in difficulties, don't be angry. Oh Allah, why are you doing this to me? وَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَحَانًا. Don't go that path. And also don't say, oh, things are so bad, I don't think things can ever be good again. I lost this, I've lost this, I'm in this situation, I don't see a way out. No, don't drown in sorrow and don't get angry at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for every pain He allows, there's a wisdom and some purpose. Though we may not know what He knows, we are certain He wants good for us. Allah always wants good for us in our pain and in our suffering. For Allah, what He wants, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمْ الْعُسْرَ. He wants the ease and the good for you, not difficulties. So He only puts you into the difficulty because He wants something good out of that difficulty. And inshallah, next time we shall proceed with this topic of pain and suffering and what Islam teaches us about it. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who listen and understand. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ وَصَلِّ اللَّهُمَّ عَلَى نَبِيِّنَا مُحَمَّدٍ وَعَلَى آلِهِ وَصَحْبِهِ وَسَلِّمَ.